What is going on, YouTube? Welcome to part 2 of this series of making an animated car short. Last time we got our materials right, we rigged the car, and we made it in Blender and all that stuff, and we are finally ready for you to have some creative freedom and to have some fun. So let's just dive into it, because this video is gonna be a little longer, so I'm gonna try to just condense it down and make it as short as possible for you guys. This is exactly where we left off last time. And the next step is to figure out what is our scenery going to be? What are we going to use here? So for me, I decided I wanted to use a city. And if you're following along, I was like, well, I don't want to use a city asset that I've paid for in the past, because you're like, well, dude, I don't have access to that. So I was like, okay, what can I use for free cities? And I ended up deciding on a city that I originally wasn't going to use. And it's because it's massive and pretty intense, but it is free, so everyone will have access to it. I say that because you don't need to do exactly what I'm doing. You're just here to see the techniques I use so you can learn them yourself. Okay, so if your computer can't run this map I'm going to load, don't worry. You can use a different one, all right? It's just, the knowledge is still there, okay? So what we're going to do is you're going to go to the Epic Game Store, right? And you're going to go down to the Fab Store here. And inside the Fab Store, if it's going to load, you're going to search City Sample, just like that, okay? And this first one right here is what you're looking for. City Sample by Epic Games. It's free, and it's a really nice asset, to be honest with you. But I want you to notice the size of it. It's 99 gigabytes. It is massive, and that's why I didn't want to use it. It's very intense if you have an average computer, okay? So again, if you don't think you use it, you can use any environment you want. This is just the one I'm going to use because it's free. When you do this, you're going to click Create Project, and when you create your project, it's going to have to download and all that stuff, right? But it's going to give you a spot where your project's going to be created. You're going to need to know where that is, all right? So I'm going to click Don't Create, because I downloaded and created one off screen just so we can, move it along here. So I'm going to go ahead and open mine up right now. And don't worry, I didn't do anything other than create it and load it. That way we don't have to wait for like shaders and all that kind of stuff in the future, all right? But your first time loading this, you are going to have to wait for things to load, and it's not quick, just so you know, all right? So see right here, discovering assets, that was really quick. Yours is going to be very slow, 10, 15 minutes. I'm not totally sure how long it'll take, all right? But when you first load this project, the city sample, as it says right above my head, you can barely see, this is what you're going to get. Right here, I just want to point out, this right here is the system recommendations per Epic Games to run this map. So if you're already a little like, I don't know, just understand how intense it is, okay? But with us using this map, that means we need to move our car asset to this map, which I didn't plan on teaching you guys, but we're going to learn something that is out of the box, right? So if you notice, I didn't close my car scene. I simply, just made another project. So I'm going to open up my car scene project, which is right here, right? And in order to get my car over onto that map or in that project, this is what we're going to do. On the left side here, you're going to have this menu. My car assets, everything for my car is saved under Audi, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to right click this folder, Audi, and I'm going to click Migrate. And when you click Migrate, it's going to say, what do you want to take with you? I want to take everything inside this folder. Okay. And then from there, this is where you want to end up, but yours is going to look like this. Let me find it, car scene. This is where yours will open up to, because this is the name of my project, and we are inside the content folder. You following me? Now, this is why you needed to know where you saved the city sample project. So for me, I save all my projects under UE5 projects, okay? And sure enough, right there, city sample. That's where it is. We're gonna click city sample, and then we're gonna go to the content folder, and that is where we wanna put it. We cannot put it anywhere else if it's gonna work. It must be under content, okay? And you just click select folder, and then mine's gonna ask to override because I made sure this worked already prior to this, and it's going to migrate your entire project over. It's gonna take a couple minutes. It's not the fastest process. And then once it finishes, you can go ahead. I'm going to close this because I know it's there, but you're going to want to verify yours is there, right? Click over, click, and sure enough, on the left, here's the Audi folder. It came over just fine. So let me go ahead and close this now. And this is the project we're going to be working in. So as you notice, there's a ton of stuff. Don't let it overwhelm you. It's because this is made to be ran as like a potential game if you want. We're not going to use it in that way today. There's a lot of other options you can use with it, and I'm going to show you one. So what we're going to do is I'm going to go to map right here, and then big city map is what I'm going to load. Now, I'm saying it like that because when you first load yours, here, I'll show you. It's going to take a second, and then when it does load, it's going to look like mush, All right, so let me double click that. Once you load in, this is the mush I was talking about. You see everything just looks all messed up. That's not by accident. It's that big that you don't want to try to load the whole map at once or you're going to have problems. So the solution is to have it load like this. I'm going to show you how to fix that. Let me move my head out of the way for these parts here. Okay, so what you're going to need is this right here, the world partition. And if for some reason you don't have it, it should have loaded. I'll exit mine though. You can simply come to window up here and type in world and see world. Oops. Try that again, world, and then you're gonna see world partition editor. Click on that for me, and then you'll have it. Yours may be loaded somewhere else, but this is the thing we want, all right? And if you see, this area is our map. So what we're gonna do is you're welcome to explore the mush all you want. I'm just gonna use this area right here because I'm here to show you how to use techniques, and for the sake of time, we're just gonna use it right here, okay? So what we're gonna do is over here on the right, see if I can make this a little bigger so you guys can see for a second, this is the area of the map I wanna use. So you can kind of get it, like my little arrow's facing that way. So that is that road there, and I'm gonna have my guy turn this direction down this road, which is over here. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to click and drag like you would do with, actually don't like that one, so I'm going to do another one, but what you would do with any program, right? Click and drag, and when you let go, you're going to get this white, right? What this is like, it's a selected area, but you're going to right click and you're hit load region from this selection. Now, when you click this, it's going to load this area of the map. Yours may or may not show a blue bar down here showing you how far it is loaded. This is going to take a minute, and you're going to want it to finish all the way before you start moving and stuff like that, because it'll just operate a lot better. So you just got to give it some time and be patient. Okay, so mine loaded. Also, it's a new day. Don't worry, yours isn't going to take that long. I just had things to do yesterday. So once you load it in, a few things. One, it looks exactly what you'd expect now. It looks nice, but only in this square. If you go outside of the square, you're going to look at more mush. And you can click and drag in different areas if you want to do another one. Right click and load, or you can click your old one and unload this section so you're not loading multiple at once. All right, so that's kind of how it works. So let's talk about this. Every tutorial I've done so far, I've kind of done it in a way of A to Z, right? We go through every single thing together. I don't just tell you techniques, I show you them. So what we're going to do today is going to be a little different, because if I do that for an entire animation, this is going to be like a 4-hour long video. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you guys important stuff. I'm going to show you a sequencer. I'm going to show you like how we normally would, a sequencer, how to get a track for the car to go on, how to rig the car to make it look like it's, you know, moving around. And then when I get to cameras, I'm going to show you the different camera techniques I'm going to use. And then I'm going to build my own, and I'll show you guys what it looks like at the end, and we'll discuss different ways I use those techniques, but I won't use anything I didn't talk to you about. The reason I'm going to do it that way is the cameras are going to get repetitive, and they're going to take a lot of time. Once we finish cameras, I'll go through and show you how I added the video, video file I had in my other one, and the like little peon and stuff like that, little add-ons to make it your own. All right, so let's just go ahead and dive in right now. So to start off, I want my car to make the turn here. So I'm going to come over here, and this is where I'm going to have my car start at. No, I lied. This is where I'm going to have my car start at, is on this side here, and he's simply going to make the turn around this building. So to start that process, what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a new folder here, and I'm going to just go right click inside here, new folder, and I'm going to name this my stuff. And the reason I'm doing that is this is just a lot, and it's overwhelming. I'm also going to click on details so I can see what's going on. It's just a lot of things, right? So like now I know where everything I make is. It's under my stuff. So I'm going to double click on my stuff. I'm going to right click again, make another folder called sequences. There we go. And then inside sequences, let me double click to open it. I'm going to make something called a level sequence. So you're going to right click and you're going to go up to level sequence. Click on that for me and name yours whatever you want. Just have some kind of naming convention so you know where it is and what it is. I'm going to name this 1 for shot 1, then shot 2, shot 3, shot 4, shot 5, up and down. And then at the end, I will have one main sequence, which I will show you guys how to do that. And that is where they will all live. Okay, so once you have your sequence made, go ahead and double click to open it up for me. And if you guys have never seen a sequencer before inside Unreal, this is what it'll look like. And let me just run through the basics for you. It's essentially a timeline you would find in any video editing software. So right here, this is your timeline from left to right as it advances through the video like you'd expect. This thing I'm dragging right here tells you where you're at, like what frame you're on. Right now I'm on frame 48. This green line right here, you can also click and drag. This is the beginning of your render. This is where it'll start. The red line is where it'll end. If you need to zoom in or zoom out, that's what this bottom line does here. This right here, if you increase this number, this is your total frames, it'll increase the overall size of the timeline. So you're seeing this get smaller. So I can now zoom it out like this, drag this down, and now have 500 frames rendering. On the left here, this is going to be the list of items that you have inside your timeline. So like video, sounds, thing like that. They go over here and then you animate them over here. And that is pretty much the basis of it. If you want to go to a different FPS, that's going to be right here in this drop-down menu. We are doing a car animation today, so I wouldn't go super high. I know a lot of people, especially gamers, like high FPS. Car animation, you want some motion blur. So I'm just going to go ahead and leave it at 30 for now. And the first thing I want to do is create a camera rig rail. And what this is the actual track that our car is going to ride down. All right, so I want my car to start about right here. So that is where my camera rig rail is going to be. So I'm going to go up to this cube with the plus sign right here, called a quick select menu. I'm going to click on that, go down to cinematic, and under cinematic, I'm going to go to camera rig rail. When I click on this, it's going to add it to my scene. There it is. Apparently I have one in here probably from when I tried to make this and it was like 4 hours long. So this is going to be our camera rig rail right here. And if you notice, it's floating in the air, which I don't want. I want it to sit on the ground. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to simply hit the end key on my keyboard and it snaps it straight to the ground. I want mine aimed this way, so I'm going to hit the E key and rotate. Ooh, if I click on the blue here and just rotate it just like that. And if you notice, it's snapping by 10, so it won't go straight. That's not a big deal. Nor if you have that issue, come up here, see these right here. These are, this middle one specifically is that 10 degrees is telling you how much you're going to rotate by. And if you just click off the blue here, it will no longer snap. You'll be able to move it by decimal point. So right there should be about good. And I'm just going to turn that back on because snapping is a good thing. So like I said, this is called a camera rig rail. So what I'm going to do now is you see this little dot right here. I'm going to double click on that. And all you're going to do is once you click on that is you're going to hold down Alt and left click drag. And when you do this, I'm going to back this one up a little bit because I just made it a little wonky. Okay, and when you do this, you're going to see it's going to add a new one of these squares, not these two off-colored ones. We'll talk about those in a second, but Alt, left-click, drag, and you can see now I have two squares there. All right, Alt, left-click, drag, and I'm going to do this all the way around, and I'm going to fast-forward through it, and I'll talk to you guys in a second when it matters, but I'm just going to do something very repetitive. Okay, so I'm coming up on the turn here. So I actually like to put one in the turn. I know a lot of people don't put it in the turn. They just kind of make the bend. I like to put one there and then bend. I'm sure there's a good reason other people don't like to do it that way, but that is how I'm going to do it this time around. And again, you're just going to Alt, ooh, I just messed up a little bit. Let's go back one, and we're just going to Alt, click, drag it down a little bit, and then we're going to go again. If I could click on this, I'm at a bad angle here. I'll click drag. All right. And that's probably going to be good enough for mine. So now that we have our track sorted out, this is what we need to do. We need to make it straight, right? Like you don't want it all wobbly because the car will be wobbly, and you want this turn to kind of be smooth. All right. So the way you edit this is each one of these points we made right here, these little white squares, you see them all the way along the line. You can click on those. And when you click on it, you get the gizmo, and you can simply pull and drag it where you want. In addition to that, you get these 2 points right here, and you can click, oopsies, I did not mean to do that. So I've lost my rail. I'm just going to type rail up here. And there it is right there. I click on it. So when I click on this and these little points here, each one of these main points has these little gizmos on the end. Double click on that. And if I click on this, I can now twist it, make it like flatter or more like a 90-degree turn or whatever you want to do. So that's essentially how it works. What I'm going to sit here and do now is I'm going to turn and wiggle mine till it looks good, and I'll see you when I'm done. Okay, so I am cool with this rail. As you can see, it's for the most part straight. This isn't the best turn I've ever made, but we're going to call it good today because I'm kind of, in a hurry for this. And what I like to do now is I just kind of like to go down the road on my rail because I want to see if it's above ground the whole way or if it's even on the ground. Like right here, can you see that? It's actually in the air a little bit. And real quick, I just want to show you something because I just did it. So let me move my camera. Up here, I don't know if I talked about this in the last video, but this is your camera speed. You can use this slider to go up and down to faster or slower. Throughout this video, you're going to see me right click, and I'm going to spin my middle mouse wheel, and it moves that number up and down. I know my head's in the way, but that is how you make it go slower and faster on the fly when you're doing stuff. And the reason I'm telling you that is it's going to matter when you're doing cameras on a little bit. So I'm going to go ahead and use that technique here, and I'm going to click back in my rig rail, and I need to make this touch the ground. So I'm going to click on this spline point right here, and I'm going to hit end, and it's going to snap it straight down just like that. And that looks much better. And let's keep going. This part is underground. So let's see, why are we underground here? That's our point. Pull this straight up, hit the end key, should snap it above ground. Yep, above ground, above ground. I actually like to click off for this because it's just easier to see. A little underground here. Let's see if we can adjust this. I'm not actually too worried about this part, but let's see, pull it up, end key. I probably fixed it right there. Yep. Cool. I think we're good to go. Okay, so now we have our track in, or our camera rail is actually what it is. And that is what our car is going to ride around the track here. So what we're going to do with this track is, let me come down to it real quick, is I'm going to go ahead and have it highlighted, selected, and it's highlighted in my outliner here so you can see that. That's what I'm clicked on. All right, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to come down to add right here. And when you click add, you're going to go to add actor track right here. And at the top, it's going to say add camera rig rail. The reason it's at the top is because it's selected. If you didn't have it selected, you can always search for it right here. But since it's right here, we're going to click right there and it's going to put it inside our sequencer. Perfect. That's exactly what we're looking for. The next thing we do is physically add our car. So we're going to go back to the content browser, back to content. For me, my car is under the Audi folder because that is what I made it in the other project, right? Yours is going to be whatever you named it in and migrated in, sorry. So I'm going to double click that. And right inside here is all our stuff. And what we're looking for is a skeletal mesh. It's right here. Mine's named simply car. Yours is named whatever you named it. And it's going to be pink and it says skeletal mesh at the bottom. Click and drag that into your scene just like that. And give it a second to load. Oh, mine took a second, but there it is right there. And right away, we have a problem. And that is that my car is too small. Now to fix this properly, to keep our scale 1, 1, 1, we would go back into Blender, fix the size and everything, and re-export. I'm not going to do any of that today because it's not that big of a deal. It's just a quick animation, right? So I knew this was going to be a problem because I had the same problem in the video you watched of mine at the beginning of this, and you liked it. So I just want to say this is the same fix I used then. So when people are like, you got to make it 1, 1, 1, it's not the end of the world, okay? So sometimes it can be, but not today. So all I'm going to do is make sure the scale button is locked, and I'm going to type 1.5 here. And it's going to make the car a little bit bigger, and now it looks like the appropriate size. So cool. We got a car in our scene, and we have our rig rail in our scene. Now we need to get the car inside the sequencer. So I'm going to click on sequencer right here. With the car selected again, I'm going to go to the add button right here, and I'm going to go up to add actor track. And again, add car is right at the top because I have it selected. Click on that and it pulls it into our sequencer. Now both in our sequencer, the last thing we have to do is get our car onto the rail. So the first thing I'm going to do for that is I'm going to take this and I'm going to pull this back to 0, 0, 0. And that's going to matter because if I start animating stuff and it's out here, it's going to throw all your timing off. All right, so 0, 0, 0 is where I want it to be. And what we're going to do with that at 0, 0, 0 is we're simply going to, right here where we have the car, we're going to select car and see this plus sign right there? It's called track is the actual name of it, but I'm going to call it the plus sign. If you click on that and come up to attach right here, this menu, you're going to see existing binding and you're going to click camera rig rail 2. And when you click on this, your car is going to go flying away. Where did mine go? All the way over there. Don't panic. This is totally normal. It has to do with it saving a location or something. I can't remember exactly. So all you're going to do is when that happens, make sure you're in your details panel right here. Come on the car, and you can see it's laid at the top there. You're going to come down to the transform location and see this little arrow. Just click that, and it'll zero this all out, and it makes your car snap to the beginning of the rail. That is what we want. Excellent. Now, what I want you to do is see this brown thing right here says attachment, and then it's got this brown rig rail thing. It starts right at 0, 0. I want you to take this, and I want you to pull it past 0, 0, 0 by like 5 or 10 frames. I just moved mine by 5. Reason is frame 0, 0, 0 in Unreal is not the same as every other frame. It is essentially telling Unreal when we click the render button, it goes frame 0, 0, 0, what do I need to grab? And it'll start, it's like, oh, I need to render these items, right? Sometimes it errors and it won't realize the car is there because the car is going to be spawnable. We'll get to that in a second. So if we back it up 5 frames, it spawns 5 frames earlier. So when it gets to frame 0, 0, 0, it goes, oh, there's a car. It's just less likely for you to have a problem. Okay. So that's what we're going to do with that. Now we have our car in here. Awesome. We have our rig rail. Awesome. So what I want you to do now is click on rig rail right here. Click the plus sign for rig rail, come up to current position on rail and click that for me. And you'll get a new dropdown under rig rail. And what this is current position on rail 0.0. That's perfect. What this is going to say is this is where I want you to start the beginning of the rail, which is exactly where we're at. And I want mine to start at frame 0, 0, 0, 0. All right. So what I'm going to do now is this little button right here. It's a keyframe button is what it's called. And I'm going to click on that. And you see I get a little dot right there. I just added a keyframe. Excellent. So now what I'm going to do is when you make this number right here a 1, that is will be at the end of the rail. Okay, so I don't have the longest rail, so we're gonna say probably 3 seconds. We'll inside this, and we're gonna go change this to a 1, and it automatically gave me a keyframe because I changed the things from this keyframe. Often you have to manually enter them. It's very important you pay attention to that. Okay. So now I'm going to go look at my car. And the reason it's all the way down there is because I added a 1 right here. So it's at the end of the rail. All right. So to get over there quickly, I'm going to select the car right here. Oh, I already did it. I'm going to select the car and I'm going to hit the F key, and F means focus, and it'll jump to whatever you have selected, right? So if you accidentally select this giant building, you hit F, it's going to zoom way out. All right. Just so you guys have an idea of what you're doing here. So I'm going to go back to car, focus back in. So it gets me back where I need to be. Okay, cool. So our car has traveled the rail. And as you can see, if you bring it down here, click down here and hit the space bar, sure enough, yep, it's traveling the rail and it's stopping right here because that is where the rail ends. But if you notice, it's kind of going slow. See how it's braking? It's slowing down. So I don't want it to break. And Unreal does this thing called interpolation, I believe what it's called. Easy in, easy out. And what it is, let me show you what it is. If I highlight both these dots and open up this graph right here, that's what these dots are. That's the end dot. That's the beginning dot, okay? And what this little graph is showing you is where it's flat right here, it's saying, hey, start off slow. And then by this middle part, this long part right here, I want you to go to your max speed, but then I want you to slow back down to a stop, okay? That is what it's telling this to do, the car to do right now. It's called easy in and easy out, or frame interpolation, I believe is the actual name of it. Reason I'm bringing that up is it's actually a super cool feature that you need in a lot of editing, and you see it in a lot of editing every day. It adds like a good flow, makes things seem more natural. Today, I'm going to remove it from the car because I don't want my car going slow or fast. I want it one consistent speed the entire time. All right. For a better explanation, the best example I can think of that gamers have seen of this, if you think of a gaming edit you've seen where like the guy's like moving fast and then he turns and it slows down for the shot, doom, and then it speeds back up. This is what you're actually looking at. All right. So cool. So what we're going to do to fix that is with them both highlighted, you can see they're normally pink. When I mouse over, they turn blue. I'm going to right click and I'm going to go to linear right here. And you can see they become green triangles, and that makes it so now if I bring that graph up right here, they're just consistent the entire time. There's no curve at all. It's just one straight line, which means this will move at a steady pace the entire time to the end of the rail. There's no slowing down. All right. So the reason I'm telling you that is, let me change them back real quick, which by the way, if you ever need to change them back, they're on cubic auto, is I am not going to sit there and click that button every single time. What you're going to see me do is I'm going to highlight them like this, and I'm going to hit the number 4. And you notice they become triangles right away, and that's just the hotkey for it, and that's usually my normal workflow. So yeah, now it goes across the whole rail. Again, let's just watch it go down the rail here to make sure it's what we like. I'm going to come behind, and I'm just going to go like this. And I'm just going to kind of follow the car along to make sure nothing crazy is happening as it drives down the rail. And that looks perfect. I think that's going to be all right for what we need today. Cool. So what we're going to go back now is I'm going to put it back over here. It's at frame 1. I want to actually go to 0, 0, 0. So now we have our car on the rail and we are ready to animate it essentially, right? So the first thing I want you guys to do, and this might break it a little bit, but it's okay. We're going to figure it out, is we're going to right click on the car here. And I want you to see where it says convert selected binding to. I want you to click spawnable actor right here. And if you click on that, it's going to put a little lightning bolt by your car, and that's letting you know, hey, this is a spawnable actor. What is a spawnable actor? Well, remember when I told you it will, when you click render, it's going to spawn it into the world so the game or the render can see it, okay? That's what we want instead of a consistent actor, okay? So let's not get lost in the sauce. Just go ahead and click that for me. And then from there, we need to add the rig, our actual control rig we made, to this car. So what we're going to do is click this plus sign again right here under track, and I'm going to come up to control rig, and this top one right here, car underscore control rig, is a rig we made in the last video, okay? So you click on that, and it'll add it to your car, and we're finally ready to use what we made, right? But I can tell you right now, mine is messed up, right? Like, look at my car, it's off the ground. So in order to fix that, I'm going to simply try to figure out what's going on with it. And I've ran into this issue a few times now. So I'm going to go ahead and bet it's this location on my rig rail. I'm going to zero this out and see if it fixes it. Sure enough, immediately fixes it. And that's kind of what I thought would happen. So let's just try to run it down here again. I like to check it, to make sure nothing else is broken anywhere along the way, but we should be okay. I'm just going to let it play real quick. And that looks like it'll be okay. So cool, we have our car gizmo thing and we're on the ground, which matters, right? So now what I'm gonna do is I want the wheels to spin, right? I just kind of like to do it in sections. So for me, I actually like to make the wheels spin first. It just adds a lot of effect for me. So I'm gonna click this yellow arrow here, hit W to get this gizmo up. And since I'm not aimed at a X or Y axis and between them, I'm actually going to pull on the bottom two together, right, to get it to move. Cool, just like that. Or you can open your car here, and if you see when you open this up, you're going to have different options, right? Animate, attach. So top one is for animations. We're not going to use that today because we're animating through our control rig, okay? So attachment, that is what we attach it to the rail with. This right here is your control rig. There's a bunch of options in there. If we open this up, don't let them overwhelm you. Reason being is we're going to use body, steering, and wheel rotation. That's it. That's the only ones we're going to use from inside there. And then down here, transform, location, and rotation are what we use. And you'll see me open these up and use these throughout the video here in a second. All right. So like I said, I'm going to start with wheel rotation, which is right here. And I already pulled it up to 20, which is max right here. So I'm just going to click this keyframe button because that's what I want it to be at right here is 20. And I'm actually not going to change that, but I just like to add the keyframe for good habit. And there we go. My wheels are spinning forward, as you can see. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually come down this way right here. And I'm going to click on my rig rail right here. And I want to figure out where's the last second before my wheels would start turning if I was actually driving on this, right? So if I pull this and scrub the timeline, right, probably about right here would be about it if I had to guess. So what I'm going to do from here is I'm going to come down and I'm just going to start going through these. So I'm in the car, right? Car control rig. I want my rear rotation to stay. I want my steering to be forward right here. So I'm going to click the keyframe button for steering. I would like my body to be straight. That's body tilt from like inertia. I want that to be straight. So I'm going to click that one as well. I'm going to come into the transform tab. Location. So location, it's following the rig rail. So think of X and Y is in relation to the rail. This is where it'll be. Okay, so we're going to click on a keyframe for location, and then rotation, we want it to aim this direction still. Cool. So now we added all these keyframes in here, and we're going to start editing them. So right now my car just drives straight down this line. Essentially, we've already animated it just in a straight line, right? But that's kind of boring. So that's all we have, and it's just going to be weird, right? It's cool. So now for the next part here, we're going to go up so I can click on the rig rail. And the way I like to do this is I'm going to click on the part of the rail where the turn's the most aggressive, which is right there, right? So I would be in a drift essentially at this point. So with my car in that position, I'm going to scroll down here to the transform, which is at the very bottom, open that up, open up rotation, and the yaw is what I want to change. And I'm going to spin it around. So if it was drifting, it'd be aimed more like that, right? Now, you don't drift from the center of the car, you do from the front axle. So this is where you start using your X and Y under transform location to start kind of playing with this to get it right about where you want it. So the way I like to do it, and I'm sure someone has a better method, is I kind of like to make it so this light is like my guide, my pivot point, right? It's not actually my pivot point, but I'll just kind of move this stuff around. I'm like, okay, let's get that light, the white line to be in the center of that light, which is going to be about right there for this, which I actually think is a little too intense. So I'm going to back this down a little bit, just a little bit there, back down the rotation. Now we can change that back. I like to keep this clicked on because obviously it's easier to see. Okay, now back down here, and we're just going to slide this back forward a little bit here. Probably somewhere right around there is going to be good for this point. And it automatically added keyframes because I had them preset here. All right, so it added them for me. I don't have to add them this time. Cool, and now we're gonna go forward with it all. We're gonna come forward a little bit more. I think right here, we're gonna just make him turn just a little bit more for a really intense drift. So rotate it more, kind of like that right there. How's my line looking? It looks okay. We'll just try to use that. Again, it automatically added the keyframe, and then we're going to shoot out. And then probably about right here, we're going to be straight again. So what we're going to do is we can't go back to 0 because we're at a new angle. We're going to turn it manually, which is probably right around 96-ish. It looks about right. Maybe less than that. It's maybe about right there. We'll say 92. Cool. Now, this location, again, this is in relation to this line. That's where we're off the line right now. So I'm going to 0, 0, and now I'm back in the middle of the line. The line's going through the center of my car-ish. As far as everybody else knows, it's going through the center of the car, right? That's good enough. Cool. So that should give us a little something to look at. So let's back it up and take a peek at what we've created so far. So we're coming around the corner here, and then we drift, and we straighten back out. Cool. I think that looks okay. I think this part looks a little silly over here. You wouldn't come this far into the intersection before you started your drift. So I think we need to spread this out a little bit. So what we're going to do is we're going to simply grab, let me transform these down so I can grab more than one here. I'm going to pull these all down like this. Okay, so now car's right there, transforms right there. Let me open this one up as well. So what we're going to do is we're going to pull these, just the transforms now, and we're going to kind of pull them back a little bit, just a few frames so it doesn't feel as on top of each other. So let's say my last good frame is about right there. All right, now these right here are going to be the location ones, right? The yaw and everything. So I actually want to make sure I get all three of these. I'm going to pull these back as well. Just a couple frames so it doesn't look as ridiculous. Yeah, we'll try 2 frames for now. So I'm going to come here. And I think that looks a little better. I think it drags a little bit on the back side now over here. Like you should be starting to straighten out right around here. So we're going to go ahead and take this, and we're going to pull this in just a couple frames as well. And this is the game. You're just going to play with it. So I think we're probably good right there. For the sake of the video, we're just going to leave it if we're not sitting here adjusting this for 30 minutes, right? Cool. So that seems to be good. The only other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take this line to this dot down here because that's where I just moved everything. And I'm going to adjust these, right? So like these two got to come down to back here. Oops. Let me scroll down so I can see where I am. What number am I trying to get them to? Number 45. Okay, so if I pull on these, if I grab these right here and I can just move them around, you will see the number on the left side of this little white line is the one you're currently on. So I'm at 44, 45. I know that's right. Very good. And that looks to be all we've moved so far. Excellent. So now, with still being on frame 45, because we decided this is our last straight frame, I want to come down, make sure my wheels are straight. They very much are straight. Excellent. And we're going to come to this frame right here. No, we're going to come about right. See, if this is our last straight frame, probably about right here. Our wheels will be turned inwards like we're trying to make the turn. So now we're going to go to the steering tab right here, and we're going to change this, right? So to change it, I'm not going to click on any of these. I can actually bump that back up. I'm going to use this thing right here, right? I can just simply drag it to the side because that's the way I want my wheels to turn. And now you can see they are, I hope you can see it well, they are turned that direction, right? Cool. And I didn't add me a keyframe. Always got to check that. So now I'm going to manually add a keyframe right there. But then by the time we get here, our wheels need to be turned 180 degrees the other direction, right? Because that makes no sense. It'd still be that way. So what we're going to do now is we're going to grab it again and we're going to pull it all the way to the other side, which is right there. And now you can see them leaning the other direction. Perfect. Again, add a keyframe. That's exactly what we're looking for. And then we're going to keep them that way. And right here, we're straightening out. So probably about right here, the wheels are going to be straight by now for sure. They're definitely not going to be that far over. So I like to look at it from the angle. So maybe about right there, we're going to start straightening out, right? So here, I'm just going to take these. And I actually do want to use this for this. I'm just going to hit 0 and 0, and it automatically added the keyframes on those ones. So let's see how this looks. We're going to drift the corner and boom, look at that. Looks pretty good so far. I'm okay with this. So what I'm going to do now to just sell it a little bit more is we're going to add the body lean, right? So here we're good on steering, we're good on tire rotation. Now let's talk about body lean. We had it set there, but by here you're probably leaning pretty good, right? Definitely by in here you're leaning all the way. So right here we're going to go body lean. We're going to take this X, and this only goes up and down by 5, so you don't got to sell it too far, right? So I'm just going to move this to number 5, and because you would be leaning from inertia into that side just like that. All right, and we're going to hold that all the way to the end, which is going to be right around there is where it'll be over, right? Boom, boom, boom. So right around here, I'm going to actually make this. It's on +5, -1, so it rocks back the other way. Go forward a couple of frames, maybe 4 frames, and now it's back at 0. 4 might be too many. Let's take a little look again. This is what you're going to do. You're going to keep playing with it and taking looks to see if you like what you got. Boom, boom, boom. Perfect. I think that'll work well for our animation. Cool. So now our car is animated, set up, and ready to go. The next thing we're going to do is cameras. I'm going to show you some camera techniques, and then I'm going to build mine out. And again, I will kind of jump around to show you the different techniques, and I'll show you how we combine them at the end. I won't use any technique I don't show you, okay? So in order to do this, what we're going to do is let me collapse this all down because we're done with all this stuff for now, right? Let me collapse that down, collapse my car down, collapse my rig rail down. Cool. Now we have 2 items. This doesn't need to be this long because my rig rail ends at 300, right? And I'm at 500. So I'm actually going to move this down to 400 just so I have a little bit of working room. But at the end of the day, after 300 frames, we're done here. So okay, so I'm going to go back to frame 0 here. And what I'm going to do now is I'm at frame 0, I'm all the way back here. My first camera is going to be added. So we're going to go create a new camera right here. And you're allowed to do this any way you want. So my other one, I had it start up high and kind of like move down, which maybe we'll do that with this one, right? So let's just try that out, right? What if we were to start up here? And this may look terrible. I don't know. I've never done it this way, right? So we're going to come over here, and right here is the camera. I'm sorry. I clicked on this to add the camera. I'm not sure if I covered that. And this is it right here. Cine Actor Camera. Okay, before we do anything else, I should have covered this. I just want to say something. See this blue right here? That means you're currently controlling your camera. So if I uncheck that, and that means my camera, oof, almost up in the air somewhere here with me. If I could find it, that'd be good. But I don't know where it is. Wait, there's the camera we're on right there, right? So when you have this checked, you're physically moving that camera around. And that matters because let's say, like, all right, this is the angle I want. I finally got it set. And you go to move on to the next thing and you forget to uncheck this. You do this, you're moving your camera. Okay, so I just want to really let you guys know that. Okay, so with our camera selected, let's just say we're at an angle, something like this. Let's start up here. I have no idea, like I said. And we're just going to call this Cine Actor, right? Cool. We're going to spawn it, and I'm going to show you a few different ways to essentially do this. This will be our free one, and we'll just make it more advanced as we go through this. So Cine Actor, excellent. You have some categories here. Aperture is going to be like, you know, how much light comes through and some other stuff. Focal length is exactly that. How do we want to move it, right? So it comes through, and this is a manual focus. What area do you want it to focus on? You know, something further, something close, things like that. Very good. This is a spawned camera, just like the guy is spawned up here. We have the lightning bolt. That's what tells us that. And that's what happens when you click this camera button right here. It makes a spawned one. Okay. And then under here, we have the transform, and this is going to allow us to move and swing the camera. General rule of thumb, if you are going to move a camera, you want it to typically move on more than one axis because it's more engaging. It's not as boring as just sliding in one direction. All right. So So for this one right here, I'm going to start here. I'm just going to click transform, and we're just going to start it right here. And we're going to pull this forward to see where the car is. And let's say about like right here, we're just going like this, zoom, 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 zoom down, right? And we're right here. Ooh, too far down. Let's slow down my camera a little bit. We're going to be about right here. Okay, so let's just see how this looks. This may look terrible, right? And again, we'll do a different camera next time. We just want to get used to what we're doing here. So let's say we swing down to there, right? That doesn't look too bad. So this time we're just going to do one that I know I'll like, and you guys can see what you think of it. All right, so we're going to go transform. We're going to start here at frame 0, and then we're going to pass where about right, probably we'll say 45, and I'm just going to zip you down the road a little bit here, which is going to be, oops, see, I don't want to do that. To zip you down the road, let's go back. Hold on, all the way back. Everyone go back to where they were. We're here. We're going to zip down like this. Very good. Transform. Come forward, back forward to 45, and we're just going to go down the road like this. We're going to pass each other essentially, right? So let's just bring you a little lower. I didn't want you to come up like that. Let's see how that looks right there. So now, so there actually is a little jerk in the middle part of it, but I'm not too worried about it because I think that's going to get masked by the next effect. So this is kind of one line, right? So to add a little effect to this, I'm actually going to come up here to where it says focal length. I'm going to keyframe this as well. 35 is default. And then by here, we'll just go a little bit past. Let's just say we want you down to 20, right? Let's see how that looks. So we're going to come here and okay. It doesn't look too bad. I think that'll work right there. I'm going to change the keyframe a little bit more here. Let's see how this looks. So I don't like that this is ending at a different time than that. I just think it looks a little silly. So maybe down to 15. Let's really enhance that. There we go. I think that looks a little bit better, huh? So cool. What we're going to do is we're going to take this 4 and see if it looks where it's just consistently changing it the whole time. All right. And you are slowing down, which I don't like. So let's change that all. See, one speed can matter a lot. So I'm cool with that. That'll be our first shot. And that goes to frame 45. Excellent. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to let it come out to about 50 or 51, 50. There we go. And I'm going to click this right here. This snaps the end all the way down there to 50. All right, cool. And that's going to be our first shot. We did it totally manual. We didn't hook anything. We didn't do anything crazy. We just did it manual, and that's on purpose. So now I'm going to click the save key right here, or you can go up to your file, save all if you want. It's good to keep saving because this crashes a lot. That is our first one. So I'm going to go back to content drawer. I'm going to go back to my stuff, back to sequencers. Now I'm going to make my next shot. I'm going to make 3 shots total because I'm going to use 3 different techniques on them, and then I will build mine out and we will reconvene. For the next one, it'll be much quicker. We're going to hit 2 on that. I'm sorry. Let me open number 1 again here. And this is what I want you to do. I want you to come in number 1. I want you to click the car, shift click the rig rail, and hit Control C to copy. All right. Come to your new one, which is right here, number 2. Open that up. When you double click it, it'll replace the other one. Click in this box, then click Control V, and it'll add those in here. And the reason I'm doing that is now there's your car moving right along, right? So that one went to 45, which was what? Right around here somewhere. 45 is right there. So what I'm going to do is have this one start at frame, we'll say, I don't know, 35, right? I like to give myself an overlap. That way in post, we can do some other stuff with it. So at frame 35, we're going to add a new camera. So we're going to add this button again right here. Again, there's our spawnable. Well, hold on. There's our spawnable camera right here. So what I'm going to do this one is I'm going to show you how to attach it to the rail, and it'll ride the same rail, and you can kind of have it offset as you want. Okay. So right here, spawn camera actor. We're going to go attach right here. I'm sorry, not spawn camera actor. This is a sin camera actor, and we're gonna go attach right here, and we're gonna go our plus sign up to attach. Words are hard, and now we're gonna click camera rig rail. Okay, when you click that, it's gonna give you that other one just like before, and I'm gonna pull it back just a little bit so the system knows it's attached, just like I had you guys do prior, right? And now if you notice, if I can look around here, I'm in the mush. I'm in the middle of nowhere. Remember how I had you click these last time? We're going to go over here to our transform on the sin actor. And we're going to go reset, reset. And now I'm going to be inside or under the car. Yep, right there. Cool. Because this is where we're at on the rig rail. And essentially now I can move how I want. Let's say I want to be here, and this is where I want my shot to be from back here. It's going to follow the car. Well, it's going to follow the rail, which is in the same spot. See, just like that. Cool. Now, I'm going to show you guys something else here. If I want this to be in better focus, I can come over here to the menu focus, and I can just drag this down till, look at that. Now my car is in much better focus and the background is out of focus. Don't worry about the little blurry marks for now. Okay. So cool. That's going to be in focus. We have this clicked. So this is going to be our shot, and that's pretty much the end of this shot. It just becomes how long do you want it to go for, right? So if we have it go to, I don't know, let's say 75, it doesn't matter because we're going to have a little bit of overlap and we're going to edit it in post. So 75 looks good. Boom. And that's it for our second shot. Much quicker, much easier when it's attached to something like that, right? Cool. Now let's go ahead, and first thing we're going to do is we're going to close this back down. We're going to click car, we're going to click rail, Control C again. We're going to go to frame 75. We're going to come over here and we're going to make ourselves a new level sequence. I'm going to name this one number 3. Click this again, Control V in here. Now for this one, I'm going to show you a couple different techniques. First, I'm going to show you something real quick, because we just did it in the other one. I'm going to click camera one more time. I'm going to move this to frame 75, which is our last frame. Pull it back. We'll say 70 on this one. That is our starting point, which means the car is right there. So let's say instead of attaching to the rail, which we've done with the car now and we've done with the camera, I want it to actually be on the car itself. All right. So if I wanted to do that, I would come over to our camera, which is right here, Scene Actor Camera, or Camera Actor. I'm going to click the plus sign, attach, and you're going to click car this time, and it'll give you a new menu. And where do you want it to sit on the car? We created all these, so we want the body, right? We made the body here. Again, it's going to fly me off into the never ever land, as you can tell here. And let me make sure this actually just worked. It did. Okay, cool. Because I want to make sure this is long enough. Again, just like anytime I attach, I like to do that. And now we're going to click back on Scene Camera Actor, and we're going to click transform, and now we're inside the car, right? So if I wanted to do like a dash cam shot, which I won't do with this car, I could do it like this, right? And now if I click play, it's just going to follow the dash, okay? So that's cool. Now it's going to follow the car. I'm actually not going to do a follow the car shot here, but I will later. And I'll let you guys know, like the way it's going to work is I can just move this around with WASD like normal, wherever I want it. And if I wanted it to follow the car, what I'm going to do here in my actual one is I'm going to have it like right here. So it looks at the spoiler during my drift. Okay. So I just wanted to show you guys that it's essentially the same thing we already did with hooking to the rail. I just want to show you can hook to a car as well. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and delete that attachment for now. Now I'm, my camera's like, whoa, where are we? We're back here in mush land, right? So what I'm going to do now is I'm actually, well, I kind of need this over there where it was. So there's a lot of ways I can get back to where I am. I'm going to do it the hard way, just so you guys can see. I'm going to open world partition. It moved me to animation mode. That's why there's different menus. I'm going to go back to selection mode just so you guys are comfortable. And then I'm going to go world partition, and I'm going to zoom out. Like, where am I? I'm actually all the way over here, right? So I can use that as a map like anything else. I'm going to move my mouse speed up, and I'm just going to zip back into my area. Like, okay, now I'm back into my area. In case you get lost, that's one way to get unlost, all right? Back to the details panel. Okay, so we know how to attach to a car. We know how to attach to the rig. Now I'm going to show you a couple more things here. So if I was going to, well, I am actually going to do this here. If I wanted to follow the car, right? I want my camera to be here, and I just want the car to go past me, and I want it to stay in focus, right? Which is done all the time. You watched it in my other video. With my actor selected, say I want this angle, right? I'm going to go over here to my details panel, make sure I'm on my actor again, and I'm going to scroll down to a couple different things here. The first one I show you is right here, your focus settings. You just want to like this, open it up, and it's set to manual. You're going to drop this, click tracking, and then everything's going to turn blurry. Don't worry. Actor to track is set to none. You can search if you want, or you can come to this eyedropper right here and just mouse over the car. It says pick car. That's how I know that's the car's there. I'm going to click, and just like that, now it'll focus on the car regardless of how the close gets to me. In fact, if I let it pass, everything should go blurry. Yep. Cool. So it's just going to try to stay focused on that item the entire time. Now, I want the camera to turn, and I don't want to send a bunch of keyframes to make the camera turn manually. So what we're going to do is right here, it says look at tracking settings. This is what we're going to enable, right? Right here, actor to track, click on this, and we're going to go to the eyedropper again, and we're going to click on the car, all right? It's going to go to the car, and nothing's happening yet because we haven't clicked enable. When I click enable, my camera's going to snap a little bit, and that's where this comes in to fix that. So I'm going to click this. No big deal. It just moved a little bit, and it's fine here, but if you notice when it gets really close, it's not fine here, right? So in order to fix this, I'm going to grab this. This is the Z. This is up and down, and I'm just going to start pulling up, okay? Until I get it wherever I want it. This is going to be your choice. So for me, probably about right there. I don't mind if it flows down a little bit. So now when this drives past me, it's just going to look something like this. Okay. And I'm cool with that. So that was at frame 70, and it's going to come here to there. Now I actually don't like it starting this far away. It looks too slow. So we're actually going to do this one over here a little bit more, and cool. And that would be the end of that one right there. So it would go to 123. All right. And that is it for camera. In fact, if I used a different camera technique that I forgot to tell you about, I'll put it right here. But those 4 are the only ones I'm going to use right now, and I will cut to after I'm done, and we'll play through mine, and we'll discuss it for like a couple seconds, and then we'll go into the other stuff, and hopefully we'll be done. Here we go. Okay, real quick. So I'm only on shot 4. In fact, I haven't even done anything in shot 4 yet. I just added my stuff there. But the way my brain works is I kind of need to see it built together. And I know these are one-off shots, so I'm going to show you how I'm going to do that right now. And you don't have to do this. It's just a better mental framework for me. And I also wanted to cover something else real quick. If you're like, I don't know how to angle a camera for good car shots. I don't know if it's supposed to be a far, medium, close shot, super, whatever you may say, right? Either do I, to be honest with you. What I do is I usually find some kind of references. I'll just like YouTube like car edits, and you'll get a bunch of ones from guys that do this for a living. Like, oh, that looks good. I like that angle, or I like this, and just look through them for one you like or a few you like, and just pull those shots and recreate those, and then be like, oh, what sound effects do you use? Try to listen and stuff like that. That's what I do. That's what most people do. Okay, so I'm just gonna show you this real quick. So I'm inside my sequencer, like stuff sequences, and what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna right click. I'm gonna make one right now. I'm gonna call this one main. Okay, and I'm gonna go ahead and open up main. And now, like I said, you don't have to do this yet. This is just how my brain works. I like to visually see where I'm at, so I'm not just dealing with single shots. So inside main, I'm going to click add right here, and I'm going to add a shot track, this thing right there. Click on shot track for me. Then you're going to come down to plus sign, and when you click the plus sign, here are all your shots so far. So like I said, that's why I named mine this way. So I'm going to click shot 1. It's going to add it straight into my shot track here, and it ends right there, right? So cool, shot 1's in there. If I click on this right here, it's going to look through the shot 1 lens, which we made together. Excellent. Now I'm going to go plus sign again. I'm going to bring in shot 2. I don't actually want it on its own layer, so I'm going to pull mine up here. If you like multiple layers, you're welcome to use that. But now you can see, let's see here, where did I want this to end at? I'm going to use my arrow keys to go one frame at a time, and you can't see the car there, so I'm going to stop right there at 45, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to get rid of this. See that blue line? I'm going to back this up to frame 45. Excellent. And then this one's going to begin at frame 46, right? So here, so now let's see, we're here, here. Ooh, okay. So actually we need this to begin at frame 45, right? There. Okay, cool. So now it's this to this. It's all fluid. So now I come in here and I hit play. It goes zoom. It goes right to it, right? Let me make sure it doesn't glitch like that. I don't know why it's getting that little hang. You see the little hang up we got going on? Let's see what's going on in there. Are we overlapping or something like that? I don't know. I don't know why it's hanging up like that. But this is one of those situations where like, hey, good thing we have a zoom in, right? So I don't think we're overlapping at all. No, I think it's just a little lag. It's no big deal. I think that'll be fine long term. I am also recording, remember, so my stuff's going to be a little glitchy. Cool. So I'm going to leave that as is, and we have to readdress it later. We will. But for now, I think it's going to be fine. Now I'm going to come in here. I'm going to go shot 3, which my shot 3 is right here. Cool. So how far does this go? Boom, boom, boom. Okay, yeah, I'm fine with that. It just kind of jumps to it like that. That's fine with me. Now, like I said, I'm only using techniques I start showing you, but I wanted to pause real quick and just show you this because now I have a better idea. Like, okay, so we're going to go from this shot to that shot to what it's actually going to look like. All right, cool. Now let me go ahead and make my 4th shot and I'll get back to you guys. Again, I'm going to show you every technique that I've changed, but so far I've only used the ones I've shown you. All right. I'm still working in the same shot here. And I just want to show you guys something. See how blurry it is? So I had this set on tracking and I've noticed this more than once. If I switch to something else and then come back, it does something weird. It's trying to track this persistent car and we have a spawnable. So I'm just going to switch this to manual and just manually do it. And if I don't need it on that frame, I'm not going to mess with that because it can break and I don't want you to get frustrated. Like, I don't know why it's breaking. I don't know why it breaks either, but it's unreal. So sometimes it does break and I'm just going to set this one manually to where I want, which should be about right there. So yeah, just a little heads up for you guys. Back to it. Okay, so I have finished my shots and I know this is a unique layout for us, so please bear with me and I'm going to try to walk you through it as best I can. I don't love it that much either, so next time we'll have to find a better thing than trying to jam it into 2 videos. So essentially, these are all my shots put inside main, right? Which we covered when I made the shot thing. And basically, you can adjust them as needed to get them how you want, right? So it just gives you an idea of what it's going to look like. Because when I render out main, these are actually all going to be full, like the full track that I've decided on the size of. And we'll use that. All right. So that's kind of what I used right there. And that's going to be into right there. It could go further and it probably should go further if I was going to make this into something, but I have no intentions of using it past this. But yeah. Okay. So let's just look at them a little bit, right? I'm going to go through each one. That way I don't miss something. If I have to tell you guys something I did. So in this one right here, let's see what we got here. It's just transformed. It's a manual camera. Let me click on this. I don't think I covered this, but this is your actual shot. This is your cuts. If you have multiple cameras in one, you put them up here. All right. So we didn't cover that because that's not the best etiquette, but you can see like this is my actual shot from here to here. Okay. And the only thing I did, like I said, it's a manual transformer. It's not on a rig rail. It's not anything. We did this one together. Cool. Let me go ahead and save that real quick. And then I'm going to go to number 2. Number two is going to be attached to the rig rail, and it just rides next to my car the whole way down. That's all it's going to do. There's no transformers, nothing on it. It's just right next to my car. And truly, this one feels a little long to me, but we're going to edit it in post, so it won't matter. Three, what do we do here? Number three is going to be, it's going to be right there, camera rig rail again. But the difference is I started over here. Let me scroll down here so you can see. I started on one side, and then I just wrap it to the other side of the car like that, to this position. That's all it's doing. Now, I do remember thinking when I watched this, it's too stiff at the end because see how it keeps riding out. So what I'm going to do right now while I'm thinking is that I'm going to take these and I'm going to simply extend them out to here. That way it shouldn't feel stiff because we want motion the whole time, okay? That should take care of that for me. It's easier to edit in post if there's motion throughout the entire frames you want than anything getting too stiff, okay? So number four, let's see what we got here. I'm going to open my camera again. This one is also on the camera rig rail, it looks like. Let me see what it's doing here. Let's go like this. Okay. So this shot I purposely made way out here. And the reason is it's the next thing we're going to cover. And I'm going to put like starting soon in this area up here, I think. All right. So just so we can show you guys how I did it. Or maybe I'll put the video right there. All right. So we'll cover both those just so you guys get an idea, but that is why this shot is set up in this manner. And that's something to think about when you make your shots, like, hey, maybe I need to think of that ahead of time, right? So, okay, number five here, same thing. Let's go camera. And this one is going to be nothing. It's just going to turn with it, apparently. So let me snap to it. Yep, it just turns with it. And that is the actual whole shot. You don't see this much of the shot, but I wanted to give us a little extra because of the way it's set up, right? So that's shot five. Shot six, I'm just going to go through I don't want to miss anything, right? This has nothing either. It's just a straight up turn. It's just going to watch it, and I just manually tracked. There's no spawn or there's no attach or anything, so I just use transform, and I manually tracked across. That's it. Oops, I don't want to do that. So that's the only thing it's going to do. Okay. And finally, shot seven is the last one, or second to last one. I'm sorry about that. So let's go here. Oh, no, it is the last one. I'm sorry. And it's just me. And all this is doing is if you come down here, it's not on a track or anything because I want it to be manual, is all I'm doing with it is I'm just starting at this point and I am going all the way down to where I decided to end, which is right here. And I want you to notice these are triangles. So that means I made a linear instead of having easy in, easy out. All right. And then if I was going to complete this, I would probably do another one from here of it driving far away, like into the distance and fading out or something like that. But I'm not going to do that because, again, I'm not going to use this. And then you have three more here. The main is where they all are. We talked about that. 4-1 here. So what this is actually, I didn't like number 4 to 5. I didn't think they looked good, so I needed to put one in between there. So I just named it 4-1 so I could find it and if I needed it. So all 4-1 is going to be in the start of the drift, right? And then, so it goes 4-1, D1, then 5. And let me explain. So 4-1 is the start of the drift. D1, the reason it's named D1 is drift 1. I didn't know how many of these I was going to have at the time. So if I bring this up, and all it is it on my fender, right? Just a cool shot. And this one is going to be attached to the camera rig rail. No, it's right here. Okay, yeah, it's attached to the car body. That makes sense. So I attached to the car, put it on the body, and I just aim the camera there. All right, cool. And then when you put them all together, like I said, I like to make the main earlier. Just gives me an idea of what I'm making. All right, although this won't quite be final. So like I just went through them all. So it's going to be a shot directly at me. Jumps to this shot right here. It's on the side. This one I feel is too long, so we'll probably edit that later on. Then it does the front one, so you can see my name real quick. Into this where we will have, either starting soon or built by Mobs. I'll put the video feed right there so you can see how that works. And then this is 4. Remember I said I had 4-1, or I'm sorry, this is 4 right here. And then this is 5 originally. And I didn't like that this jumped to that. So it went 4. Then we go 4-1, right? Because it looks a little better. Start the drift. And then we're going to go onto the fender of the drift here. Boom, boom, boom. In the drift. Coming all the way out of it, and then we're just gonna go ahead and end up right there. All right, so that is what we ended up with. It's gonna be 341 frames. So I'm gonna go, let's go, no, not 340, that's for sure. Let's go 350 right there. Cool, and that is how we're gonna do it, right? I'm gonna hit end on the shots, and this is the part we're gonna end up rendering out. But before I get into rendering, I'm glad I just want to show you guys that. I'm gonna save everything. Those are the camera shots, and that's why I didn't want to cover camera, because it's the same technique, just over and over and over. I just wanted to show you guys a couple of them. Now, what we're gonna do is we're gonna go into sequencer here, and we're gonna go to number 4, because number 4 is the one I wanted to use. Let me go here, and up there is where I'm gonna want my camera. So I'm gonna uncheck this so I'm free in this world here. what we're going to do here is I made this one, as I said before, number 4 to show my little video, right? That's why I picked this angle, a little forethought, right? Cool. So we're going to go ahead and keep that just like that. I'm going to check out of that real quick. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to come back to the content browser. I'm going to go to my stuff. So I'm just in my stuff folder. I'm going to right click in here and I'm not going to make another folder. I'm just going to put it right here. And I'm going to go to media and file media source, right? I should rename this. Let's just rename this just mobs, right? It's something I know that way in case I lose it in the giant list of things. Go ahead and double click on that. Open it up. Mine opened up kind of weird, so let's put it right there. Cool. And this is what you'll have. And right here, there's 3 dots under file path. Click on those dots for me. And then when you click on those, you're going to find the video you want, assuming you have one. So I'm going to pick this video. It's the same one I used last time. I'm going to double click it. And now it's been added. So I'm going to hit save. And if you want to see it, you click open. And it'll play it right there for you. Perfect. That's what we wanted to see. Excellent. Now I know my video is right there. And all I have to do at this point is click and drag it into my world and kind of get it up where I want it to be, right? So I'm going to click this. I'm going to drag it over. I want it up there on my, on my thing. It's obviously too small. So let's just make it much bigger. I'm going to go with 20. It looks pretty close. And I'm going to rotate it a little bit here, something right around there. And this will be easier to do from above, to be totally honest with you. So I'm going to come up here and we're just going to try to play with it a little bit to get it where I want it to be. So let's try rotating it a little bit more and see, I can't get it straight. That's because snapping's on. So we're going to click this, turn snapping off. And now right about there should be right. Go ahead and snap back on and make sure I'm good left to right. I think I am. I think we go to the left a little bit here, to be honest with you, but I'm not sure. I'm going to put right there. And now I'm just going to pull it up. Cool. And that, it's in my scene now, right? So it's a black screen. Now what we're going to do is we're going to open up the sequencer. This is my 4th sequencer. Remember, I showed it to you, so I can verify by just clicking this. Yep, that's the one, and there it is. So what I'm going to do is, this is that file. I'm just going to simply drag it in. And when I drag it in, would you like to disable autoplay? Yes, I would like to disable autoplay. And it starts at the beginning, so I'm going to drag it down because this does not start at the beginning, right? And right there should be good. So now it's going to play. Playing right now, but it's very hard to see. And the reason it's hard to see is because the lighting in this map. So if I get close, you're good to go. But if I turn away, so from back here right now, we're not going to see it very well. So the easiest workaround I found, and I'm sure there's another way to do this, I'm just not good at these, is I'm going to adjust the lighting on the map. And I kind of want to do that anyway because it's just midday here, right? So I'm going to come up in the outliner and I'm going to type in 2 things. First one's going to be directional light. Oh, my double spell directional, right? There it is, directional light. So there's the first one, and it's yours is at 2000 as well. I think that's crazy high. So I'm going to pull mine down to 20. Let's see how that looks. Okay. So I'm going to do that. And then I'm going to go skylight as well. And this is the one that's really going to affect it. So skylight, I'm going to come down here, intensity 50. Let's do intensity 5 and see where we're at. And look at now we're starting to see it. And now if you notice the whole thing looks a little better, right? Or at least I feel it does. And you can go, oh, my bad. You can go around and you can play with these settings as much as you want and see what you like, what you don't like, like maybe you want it nighttime more, whatever you decide you want. So if that's intensity scales down to 0, now look at now you can really see it. Awesome. It's just a little too golden for my liking. So I can, I can go through and I can make this a 1 or whatever I want to be. And be like, okay, maybe that's good. And let's see how that looks right there. Go here, and I think that'll look fine just like that. Perfect. Yep, there's no reason to do anything more than that. You can see it just like that, and that's all I was looking for. I actually, if I was going to make this for real, to be honest with you, I would move it over here because I feel like the camera's not tracking it quite right. It would track it better right here. So yeah, but you get the general idea. I'm going to click save on that. Cool. The next thing I wanted to show you guys real quick on the fly is how I added the text. So I added 3D text, and maybe we can add that right here if you guys can see that as well. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to go up here to edit, and I'm going to make sure my 3D text plugin is enabled. It is. If yours is not enabled, click save and go ahead and agree to restart. Make sure everything's saved. But yours should be enabled as mine is enabled because I didn't go out of my way to enable that. All right. So in order to access the 3D text, I'm going to be right here. I'm still in the content browser, my stuff, right? And I'm going to come over and I'm going to up here at the top where it says quickly add to your project. I'm going to click on this. I'm just going to type in 3D text, and there it is. Boom. Right. So I click on that and it's going to give me a text layer right there in the middle of my world. And it's really that simple. On the right side here under text, you're going to type what you want it to say. So I'll do mine as starting soon. If I was like a streamer right now, it says starting soon, and you're going to go ahead and pick what text you want. I'm going to, oops, I didn't mean to click on that, but it kind of works out well, I guess. Anyway, I'm clicking on everything but what I need to click on. I'm going to click on the text here and I'm going to type in promote because that is the text I like to use, and that is the one that is what's it called? Oh, it's not going to come up. Well, maybe it's not in here then. That's all right. That's fine. We'll just use, it doesn't matter what text we use, honestly. Look at that. That looks huge, but we can make that work right there. Cool. I think that'll be fine. So what we're going to do now is I need it to be on that part of the building right there. So let's just go ahead and take it over there. So now if we go into our sequencer, we go to this and we play this one, our starting soon is right there, right? So let me unclick it so it doesn't look funny. And we can just hit play right here. It's just starting soon just like that. Now, let's just say we didn't want this in the way or we wanted to do something. I'll show you how to edit text real quick. So if I let me go back here, get out of this real quick, back in perspective mode. First off, I would want it higher simply because of that. I don't know, there's a little thing in the way. So let's just say we wanted it up there, right? So to add a light that would animate across this, or you can change the color in here as well. But to add a light that would go across, we're going to go to the plus sign up here and we're going to go to rect light, which is going to be lights and then rect right here. That just means rectangle light. If you think of like a square softbox light, that's all you got here. And that's what this is right here. And you can adjust the size and width of that square by adjusting these right here. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of get this in the position I want to get it in. So I'm going to turn it. I want it to face the light right there. I'm going to hit the W key there to get it where I kind of want it. And I just want it over here, right? And let's say I wanted it that's not even close. Thought it was much closer. I'm not going to lie. Let's do that and pull it in and pull it in and pull it in. And how close are we now? We're a little too close, but that's okay. So let's pull it out a little bit, go down here and go back down. And cool. Let's just say, I don't know, we wanted it to start right there, right? And I wanted it to be bright enough that you could see it on this. Now, mind you, it's white, so it's going to kind of be a pain in the ass, but let's see if we can't get it bright enough to get it on there. This also might be 100% backwards, judging by the fact I don't see anything. It is, because now I can see it on the back of the building. Our next issue is going to be that this is a matte white with nothing crazy on it, right? So let's click back on this real quick. And you can come down here and you can do a custom material if you want it to be seen. And I'm just going to show you how to do that real quick. We're going to go custom. And then I'm like, cool. What do I want the front to look like? I want the front. I'm sorry. Let's exit all this. I did not mean to click on all that. Exit all of these. Okay. So I want a front material on this, right? So cool. I'm going to right click. I'm back in my stuff folder. Right click. I'm going to go to materials and I am going to go M_letters, right? M_letters, double click M_letters to open it up for me. Mine keeps opening weirdly. That's fine. Just drag it up here. Cool. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to make this color. Let's say we wanted it orange, right? Like that's a pretty popular color. We'll go orange and I'm going to set the metallic up to 1 and I'll wear the roughness at, I don't know, 4, right? Something where it's a little shiny, but it's not so shiny. So let's see how that looks here. Hit save. Cool. And now all I'm going to do with this is I'm just going to pull it and apply it to the front just like that. And that's all you have to do. And if you want to put it on the sides and stuff, you can just keep pulling and applying it right here in the other menu just like that. And now you can see the light on here, right? So cool. Now that we have our light on there and we have a custom material on this, what we're going to do is we're going to go sequencer and I need to find that rect light. So I'm going to come in here and I'm going to go rect because that's the name of it. Right. And it's going to be, there's 2 of them. I don't know what this one is, but we're going to click on this one right here. All right. So with this one selected, I'm going to simply drag it into my number 4, just like everything else I've drawn in number 4. And I'm going to transform it just like I've done everything else. Right. So go ahead and minimize this. That's the letters and rect here. If you can notice, there's no transform tool on it. You're going to go to the plus sign, just like everything else. This time you're just going to click transform and it adds it to it. Click keyframe right there. Okay. Now we're going to go all the way to the end, down all the way down here. Click on the light itself and we're going to drag it, drag, and we're going to keyframe again right here, transform. Cool. Now the light will travel the entire way across this. When you hit this, it'll be good to go. So yeah, no one would ever notice that except for us, but now we have them both in one screen, just like that. And I think that is everything we're going to add in Unreal. I'm trying to remember the other video. I believe that is everything. The only thing we have left is sound design and editing the actual clips. So in order to get into sound design and editing the actual clips, whew, that's going to be a whole feat in itself. This is going to be one long video. So in order to get into both those things, what we're going to do is we are going to first set up Unreal in a very specific way. If you're using this map, there's some things we have to do. You don't have to do these if you're not using this map. I am using this map though. So I'm going to type in spawn and you're going to have some stuff up here, right here, right? Okay. And what these are when you click the play button to play the game, things are spawning, like mass traffic's going to spawn, you know, mass traffic vehicles, mass traffic trailers, parked vehicles I will leave on, and intersection spawner, mass traffic intersection. So I'm going to go ahead and delete most of these. So I don't want intersections. I'm going to delete that. I don't mind the parked cars. We'll keep that one. I don't want trailers and I don't want that. Reason being is our animation cuts across the lanes and we'll be driving through cars. So that gets rid of them. You can leave the crowd on if you want people. I've never left it on. I'm going to try leaving it on this time. If the off chance it renders out and the crowd is an issue, then next time we will just go ahead and delete it. All right. So let's talk about rendering a little bit here. So let me go ahead and back it this up to our normal sequencer here. Let's open this up. And this is the sequencer we are going to render out right here. It's going to have all of our shots that we've decided on, right? So what we're going to do for this is I want you to come up here, right? And I'm going to have you click these three dots. Make sure you're on movie render queue. Excellent. And then click on this. All right. So it's going to say, what are we trying to render out, right? What we're trying to render out is right here, plus sign on the render. We're going to scroll down and we're going to go to, we see main. That's the one we're going to render out, okay? Now, I'm not the best at setting up render. Some people do it differently. I found success with this. Whatever works for you, okay? So click on the unsaved config right here. And it's going to have a whole bunch of stuff. I'm going to turn off JPEG, all right? And I'm going to go plus sign in settings, and I'm going to add something called EXR, all right? EXR is going to give you different channels for color correction and things like that. I'm not going to get too deep into that today, but it's maybe needed, right? I'm also going to add anti-aliasing, and then I'm going to add game override right here as well, okay? So I think that's all I'm going to add. I'm trying to remember real quick. That should be it. Okay, so let's just go to the top. EXR, leave it exactly as it is. JPEG, turn it off. All right, deferred rendering, don't even need to touch it. Anti-aliasing, we do need to touch. Okay, so this right here, temporal sample count, is going to add additional motion blur. This is going to make it smoother, right? So I'm going to move this up to 16 because we have a car. Okay, I'm going to override that because it wants me to override it. And you can do a warm-up count if you want. I'm going to do mine at 32, although when I click this, it's just going to look grayed out anyway, right? So I'm going to check both those. Do you need to check both those? Truly don't know, but that's what I've done every time, and it's worked. Game override. So this is a big one. See right here, it's going to have like different options. These are game modes, essentially, right? I am going to click this and I'm going to go to the one named just game mode. All right. And this is a city sample thing right here. This isn't going to happen on other maps. This may have to happen on your map if you're using another one. But since this is a game mode map, it's going to try to render out the game mode character. So if we go here, it helps prevent that. All right, so that's kind of the goal there. Cool. Now we're gonna go to output, and here's the big thing at the top, output directory. You're gonna click these three dots, and you need to put this where you're gonna remember where it's at. So my computer's pretty full because I downloaded this project and been working on it with you guys. So I'm actually gonna put mine over here, and I'm gonna go into build, which should be a name under my desktop. We'll go desktop, and we're gonna go build, which is right here, and I'm gonna go rend, and this is a file I'm gonna use. I'm gonna say select folder, and now that is where mine will save at, all right? Next thing I'm going to change is right here. It says sequence name a dot frame number. Leave frame number alone, but inside these curly brackets, go ahead and back out sequence name. And what we're going to put here is shot underscore name. It's already coming up, right? Click on that. And what that'll do, it'll give us the entire shot and allow us to edit it post-processing. Okay. Custom frame rate, if you want, you can click this and go to a custom frame rate. I operate it at 30, so I am going to change this to 30 just because I know my sequencers are at 30, all right? This is going to be your output resolution. You can pick whatever you want. I'm going to go ahead and just get fancy with it. So I'm going to type ×2 right here, and then I'm going to type ×2 right here, and that'll move us up to 4K. You note those are going to be bigger files, all right? Cool. And then from here, everything else should be fine. I'm not going to see anything that's going to cause me an issue, but there's always one way to tell. Now, when I click accept, my computer is going to cripple. Yours is too. You might get a white box for a little bit. You might get it to start rendering it away. I don't know what you're going to see, but give it time, okay? It's not a quick, this render out is probably going to take me realistically about 45 minutes to an hour, all right? So here we go, and assuming I have no errors, I'll see you when it's done. Oh, render local. Okay, so my export just finished, and I want to talk to you guys before you do yours. So I kept crashing, and I had to make some changes. And then once I made those changes and got it in After Effects, there were some other errors that I'll put on the screen right now. So I went through and fixed them all, and I'm going to show you what I did fix them all. It wasn't that big of a deal, but this is the issues with Unreal. There's always some kind of crazy stuff going on, right? So, okay. What the first thing I did was exports weren't working, right? So if I go up here, let's click right here so it doesn't start automatically, and go into the render. This is my settings for the render that worked for me, okay? So EXR was exactly how we set it up before, deferred exactly how we set it before, anti-aliasing 16 and 1, we override. I unchecked any kind of warm-up, and I dropped this down to 5 for this render warm-up count, right? And 0. It's the exact settings I used, okay? Game override, I went to game mode, just like I disguided before, game mode. And then everything else is normal, except for this right here, from 50 down to 1, okay? And the reason I did these things is I kept getting it crashing error, and I fed the log into AI, and the AI was like, it's because you have Lumen issues, right? So after I changed those, I also went into my plugins right here, and if you type in Fast Geo, this right here, Fast Geo Streaming, I had to uncheck that, restart, and then I was finally able to render out. And it went fine without crashing. Then I ran into another issue, and that was my actual strips here. So like some of these just weren't working as I should. Some were just wrong. And what it was those little things like I didn't pull the camera rail back enough, or like the camera actor would be right here or something like that. Just little things like that throughout everything. So I went through every single one of these and I adjusted it so it stretches over all the way through every one of these, right? I was like, okay, that one stretches past. I had another issue with this one. This one just didn't appear, right? And it was because this wasn't stretched. It started directly where my render started. So it was like this. And all I did was come through and stretch it out how you see it. All right. And I went through and I did that for all of them. I just messed that one up. I'm talking to you guys, didn't I? Let's stretch it out in case I need it again for anything. Okay, there we go. Save. All right. And that's what fixed them, right? So I just wanted to go through and show you guys that. Go through every single one of your frames and make sure your stuff is stretched out enough past whatever section you're going to be using. The reason you're doing that is this is a spawnable actor, so it'll spawn before it gets to that point, right? It's exactly what it says. It's a spawnable object, so it's not actually in the world, and then it spawns into the render, okay? So that fixed it on both sides, and we are finally ready to go into After Effects. Okay, here we are in our blank After Effects project. So like I said before, you don't have to use After Effects. You can use DaVinci Resolve or whatever editing software you want. I just set After Effects at the beginning, so I'm going to go ahead and commit to that. Really, I could use Premiere Pro or whatever else I had, right? So I'm not going to teach you guys how to use After Effects today. That's not the point of this video. I'm just going to show you what to do with all those files and how to add a couple sound effects and move on with our day, all right? I'm not going to make it nearly as good as the last one just because of time's sake and stuff like that. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to come over here and I'm going to double click the blank area there, and this allows me to add things to my project. So the first thing I'm going to add is I'm going to come over to the build rend because this is where my stuff is at. And as you can see, these are all of our files. Now I want you to note how this is named. If you notice, these ones all have a 1 next to them, like 1.000 all the way to right here. Then it's 2.0045. So what this is this is the name of that shot, right? So shot 1, shot 2, shot 4, shot 4.1, like all that. All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on the first file, EXR file of frame or shot 1 right here. And I'm going to come down here and make sure this is checked. And I'm just going to click import. And just like that, it's going to import that entire shot into my project, right? So now if I were to drag this into my timeline down here, you can see there is our shot right there, right? And it was a little laggy, but you get the idea, right? Now I'm going to double click again, come back in here, and I'm going to find out where 2 starts right here. Again, open EXR sequence is checked, and I'm going to import this one as well. I'm going to go through and I'm going to do this for all the shots, and that'll get them inside the program. So I will see you in a second. Okay, so now all of my shots are in my project. Did them the same way as the one I showed you. I'm going to go ahead and delete this. I'm going to check how long my composition setting is. It's 1 second. So we're going to go ahead and make it 31 seconds. That is longer than we're going to have. And I'm simply going to take all these and pull them in here so I can see what I'm working with, right? And they should, for the most part, end in order. So I'm going to make this bigger. Again, I'm not going to be showing you guys how to use After Effects today. So I do apologize for that if that's what you're after. But I don't think any of you guys are really going to be using this anyway. I think most of you are just going to go ahead and use your programs you already own, right? So I'm just going to pull these out to kind of get an idea of what we have here on the fly. And then from here, let's see here in this one is D1. So that's not going to go there. And actually I made 2 of these by accident. So we'll delete one of those, and you are going to come somewhere in this area anyways, which I think is right here. We'll see here in a second. So, okay, let's just look through this real quick. If we let it render, which see that little green dot, sometimes it goes a little slow. After Effects, you got to let it render. So let's see what we get. Zoom into that effect, into that, into this. And okay, cool. And yeah, that works out pretty well. So what we're missing is this one right here, which is exactly where I wanted this to be. Excellent. So now if we come through, it's going to be like that, and then it's going to go to that, and there's a blank, but yes, into that. Okay, so let's go ahead and edit these down so I'm happy with how they are. So I don't want to start in the ground. That's not going to work for me. So we're going to start right there. We're going to come through, and we're going to be there, and we're going to jump into this here. Boom. Burn. We should be done with this. This feels too long to me. Okay, let's come here. Again, this is all preference right here. You don't got to do this. This is just me I want it to be a little shorter, into that, into this. That one's a little long, but it does its purpose. So this feels like it drags a little bit to me. You see too much of the car spin. I think the car spin needs to stop right about there where you start to see the tail. Let's make it a little longer. We can always try it a little longer. Ooh, let's not do that. And we can always edit it later on, right? So, okay, and now let's do this. And then we're gonna grab all three of you, line you up right there, and go. Yeah, I think that flows just a little bit better. Let me check the other half of it. Okay, and so for this one, I think it actually needs to start a little bit later as well. So we're gonna click on just this one right here, click all three, drag this back to there. Yeah, I think that just flows a little bit better, if you see what I'm saying. All right, so that's going to be all of our shots. Now, we're here to do sound. Let me put these at 0, 0, 0 real quick. And we're here to do sound, right? I'm just going to do it all in one giant layer here so you can see it. Really, you should make like nested stuff, but we're not going to get into all that because, again, I'm not here to teach After Effects, all right? So I'm going to double click here and I'm going to find my sound. So I already had the sound picked out. It's the same one I used last time. I highly recommend you do have your sound picked out so you have an idea of what kind of shots and stuff you're going to do. So this is the same song we heard in the last edit. I do apologize. It's going to be a little loud here, but this is the song. I'm going to hit LL so you can see the sound waves. And when I play it, I actually don't mind it just off the beginning, but I'll show you guys, like, let's say you don't want to use the beginning of the song or something like that. What I'm going to do is this is where the bass hits. You can see it gets bigger right there. So let me look at that real quick. Hand by. Okay, doom, doom, doom. I'm going to add that right here. Quick, quick, quick. We turn. I'm going to put it right here at the beginning of where I look at the fender. So if we do this, let's see how this looks. Hold on, that was laggy. Let's try again. Okay, and you guys get the idea. I'm gonna actually keep it there. I'm cool with that. You guys get the idea of how it works, right? So it basically started off slow, the music does, the tempo does, and then the shots kind of do too, nothing crazy. And then when it hits this close up, this extreme close up, boom, the shots start getting faster, and so does the song. And that's what you're gonna do. And from there, you're kind of finding a tempo, maybe a fast shot, slow shot, or whatever it may be. That's kind of what you're gonna do. You kind of go with the song after that, all right? So we're cool with that. For it's not so aggressive at the beginning here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to L again, and I'm going to go ahead and make a keyframe right there, and that's at 0, 0, 0. I'm going to pull that one out a little bit, and now I'm going to make another keyframe. We're going to make this -25, and let's see how this sounds. Okay, so it's a little, let's pull it in a little bit. Okay, so I'm actually okay with that, so cool. Now we're going to add our sound effects. As far as sound effects goes, you can get yours anywhere you would like. For me today, I'm going to use the same ones I used last time, which are these files right here, all these MP3s. If I can scroll down and get them, there we go. All these, and I did use rope, but I don't think I'll use rope this time. These are all the files I used last time, okay? Like I said, you can get yours wherever you want. I get mine from Epidemic Sounds. That's what ES stands for here, but that does cost money. All right, so there's tons of free alternatives out there. That's your business how you get them. I'm not going to ask, I'm just going to do my thing and say, these are the ones I'm going to use, all right? So I'm going to go ahead and import these in. I should have renamed them, but I didn't. And again, I don't think I'm going to be using them all because I'm going to kind of just be in a hurry here going through this. So let's just drag this one in, see what it is here. Definitely just hit the wrong button. So let's just zoom back out. Okay. And I'm going to hit L on this. Apparently we can play a video game. We're not going to though. I'm going to hit L. All right. And this is quick. So this is quick whip. So what we're going to do is I'm going to actually add one of these to kind of show you guys how it works. So we're going to go Control-Shift-D right there, LL. Come over to here, Control-Shift-D right there. And I'm going to pull this part out. I'm going to delete this part. And what I'm going to do is I want this high part of this to hit right when we switch scenes. So right there. So now it should be. See how you just don't really notice it, but it's there. I'm going to turn the music off so we don't have to do. So ready, and it actually felt a little delayed. So I think it's off just a little bit. I think it needs to hit maybe a frame or two earlier. Let's zoom in a little bit. Yeah, we definitely need to hit a frame earlier. So apparently my page up and down button that I use to switch frames is also my stop recording button. So anyway, I didn't really do anything else. I simply just moved this down a little bit. It's right here, cut off the front of it and then moved it down a little bit. That's it. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go through and make some of these, and I'm going to show you guys at the end and show you what I did. All right, I'll see you in a bit. Okay, I'm going to call this good enough and I'll show you guys what we have here. Again, I'm never going to use this, so I'm not going to sit here and make it perfect. I just want to give you the concepts. And I know we're so far into this video at this point that like it's whatever, right? So what we did here is I have my music, which you guys helped me do. I didn't change anything in that other than I made it -5 the whole way through it. So it never gets all the way loud. It starts off a little quieter and kind of ramps up. Since this isn't the beginning of the song, we added our own ramp in right there. All right. Then if you come down here, all these sounds right here, like this one right here, they're just these quick whip sounds for like transition. So like, let me turn the music off real quick so we can do this with other music. So see how it just, it hits as that happens. All right. And then what you're going to have down here is going to be different engine sounds. So we're going to start with this engine sound, and I'm just going to show you guys. You can see it's at -7 at this key point. Then it's actually going to go up, or I'm sorry, down a little bit more, and then down a little bit more. And then that's the end of this motor sound. And there's another motor sound right here that's going to take over. And to blend them in, this one's going to start at -25 and come up to -7, right? So if I turn this other stuff off, you can kind of hear what that's going to sound like right now. So if I come in, it's just going to be... So it never completely disappears. It just fades out a little bit. So that way you're not like jarred, like, oh, that was off a little bit, right? And in between there, there's going to be the sound of the drift. Now, I'll be honest with you, it doesn't sound as good on the one I made before, but I'm not going to sit here and like mess with it for hours, right? So... and that's the sound that's in between, kind of masking the cover and giving us the drift, right? So I'm going to go L. I'm sorry, I'm going to go L there to show you. Well, maybe. Okay, and that one. So those are both at 0. There's no keyframes on them. They're simply cut in place there, right? So now if I take these and put it all together, all my engine sounds, this is what you get right here. So as you can hear, it is off in here, but the music helps cover that. Not if I was going to use it, I would take the time to make it flow a little bit better, but I'm not too worried about it. And if this was a longer animation, you could tell how the music makes sense, or the sound makes sense here, because I'm accelerating. It just ends there, right? But if it was longer. Now, in order to fix this, honestly, what I should do is probably make these just a little bit quieter. We'll try it one time, but I'm not going to sit here and do that the whole time. So this is at -20. Let's try -30 on that one, and let's see if that fixes. See, it seems like a little abrupt coming out of there. So maybe this one goes down to -30 as well. And then this just gets stretched out a little bit. It can't get stretched out more than that because this sound ends right here, and that can't get any longer because things get messed up. Okay, so there is an abruptness right there, but check it out. So now on top of that, what you're going to add is all these sounds here, and all these are just whips essentially, right? Like when I pass items. So there's one, and then the other ones you're going to hear when I'm on the side going through the building. So those are the objects. They're lined up with when is this object on my screen? Boom, that one hits. Next object, boom, that one hits. Next object, it's actually right here. It's a little behind, but I needed the rhythm to be on, boom, and then that one right there. That's what you're hearing there. That's what that is, right? So now when you tie it all together, and again, all you're going to do is play with the audio levels to get them where you want them, right? Put music over it. This is what it sounds like, and this is what I'm going to call done. And you would see how that could continue if we had more footage. Now, if you're making this for your stream, take the time and really get into this. I just wanted to show you guys the concept, and you guys seen the one with the white car and how that one looked at the end. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to render this out, and I'm going to go ahead and place it at the end of this for you guys can see it. But it's essentially, it's done. You see what it's going to be, right? This was a long video, and honestly, I don't like the way it came together in the end. The first half I was fine with. The second half, it's just too much information to deliver in 2 videos, and I could have made it 3, and I did debate that, but now it's just getting longer and longer, and I don't like when things go that way. I think what needs to happen is I need to get a better way to deliver information to you guys when it's this much information, okay? So yeah, in the future, I will do it differently. I apologize if, you had issues and you couldn't do it. And if you had issues with Unreal Engine rendering out, me too, man. Real quick, I doubt you'll see this unless you've already resolved them, but Honestly, this is typically how I resolve mine because there's so many issues that can go wrong with Unreal, okay? So if we come in here and I'm going to go down to my Unreal project, the project I'm working in is right here, city sample, right? And inside this project, there's something called the saved folder. If you go in the saved folder, you can go to crashes. And these are all the crashes I had today, right? Find the latest one. If you just crashed, find the timestamp here. And when you find it, take this the city sample log and the crash context runtime. Take both of those. What I do, I put them both in ChatGPT. You can just click and drag the whole file in there and say, why did I crash? And ChatGPT will tell you, read these logs, tell you why, and tell you options to fix it. So it just seems to be the most painless way if you're lost in the sauce and know how to fix it. All right. So again, I apologize, guys, for this format and how long the video is. Maybe I'll break it into 3. You guys will know that real soon if I did, because this will be in the 3rd video. But thank you for watching. You've made it all the way through. I will try to help you guys in the comments. It's just a lot, so bear with me. All right, I'm gonna need extra information on this one to help you guys. So subscribe if you haven't, and I will catch you in the next one.